In June 2013, Aaron Hernandez was one of the most valuable tight ends in the NFL. He had just signed a $40 million contract extension with the New England Patriots. He had a fiancée, a baby daughter, a mansion in Massachusetts. He had everything. 5 days later, police were at his door. His friend Odin Lloyd had been found shot dead in an industrial lot less than a mile from Hernandez's home. Surveillance footage placed Hernandez at the scene. His own home security system recorded him holding a gun hours after the murder. He was arrested, cut from the Patriots the same day, convicted of first-degree murder. But Odin Lloyd was not the first person Aaron Hernandez killed. He was just the one who finally got him caught. Because Aaron Hernandez had been killing, and the people around him had been covering it up for years. And the secret he was willing to murder to protect was not about drugs or gangs or money. It was something far more personal, something the NFL and everyone around him needed to stay buried. This is the full story of Aaron Hernandez, the secrets he carried, the lives he took, and the brain disease that the NFL knew about and said nothing. Aaron Hernandez was born in Bristol, Connecticut in 1989. From the moment he picked up a football, it was clear he was different. Not just talented, extraordinary. The kind of athlete that comes along once in a generation. His father, Dennis, was his entire world. The man who taught him the game, the man who pushed him, the man whose approval he spent his entire life chasing. When Aaron was 16 years old, his father died suddenly from complications after surgery, and something in Aaron Hernandez broke that day that never fully healed. He turned to drugs, to alcohol, to the streets of Bristol, a post-industrial town where football stars were gods, and nobody asked too many questions about what those gods did in the dark. But the talent was undeniable. The University of Florida recruited him. He became one of the most dominant tight ends in college football history. And in 2010, the New England Patriots drafted him in the 4th round. What followed was 3 years of football brilliance. He was fast. He was physical. He was impossible to stop. In 2012, he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That same year, he committed his first murder. On the night of July 16, 2012, Aaron Hernandez was at a nightclub in Boston. 2 men, Daniel De Abreu and Safiro Furtado, accidentally spilled a drink on him. According to witnesses, Hernandez was furious. He followed their car, pulled alongside them at a red light, and opened fire. Both men were killed instantly. 2 innocent people dead because someone spilled a drink. Aaron Hernandez drove back to his mansion, went to sleep, and the next morning showed up to Patriots practice like nothing had happened. For almost a year, nothing happened. No arrest, no charges, no investigation connecting him to the crime. He was an NFL star. He was untouchable, but the crime had witnesses, and witnesses talk. Which brings us to Odin Lloyd. Odin Lloyd knew about the Boston murders. He had connections to people who had seen what happened that night. And in the weeks before his death, Hernandez had become increasingly paranoid that Lloyd was going to talk. On the night of June 17, 2013, Hernandez picked Lloyd up from his home. Lloyd texted his sister from the car, telling her who he was with. His last text read, "Did you see who I'm with?" He was found dead the next morning, shot 5 times, less than a mile from Hernandez's front door. The investigation into Odin Lloyd's murder revealed something the NFL had worked very hard to keep quiet. Aaron Hernandez had been living a double life. Since high school, He had been in secret relationships with men, while publicly maintaining his relationship with his fiancée, Cheyenne Jenkins. In the hyper-masculine world of professional football, where toughness and masculinity are the foundations of everything, this secret was potentially career-ending. Multiple people who knew Hernandez have confirmed that he lived in constant terror of this secret being exposed. His high school teammate, Dennis Sansucci, with whom Hernandez had a relationship, spoke publicly after his death.
His own brother confirmed that Aaron came out to their mother and his fiancée while in prison. The man was carrying an impossible weight, a secret identity, a sport that had no space for who he really was, a brain that was already being destroyed by disease, and a pattern of violence that escalated every time the secret felt threatened. Odin Lloyd's connection to people who knew about the Boston murders made him a threat, and Aaron Hernandez eliminated threats. That was what the $40 million contract and the mansion and the Super Bowl rings had taught him, that he could, that nobody would stop him, that being Aaron Hernandez meant the rules didn't apply.
The trial of Aaron Hernandez for the murder of Odin Lloyd began in January 2015. The evidence was overwhelming. Surveillance footage, text messages, shell casings matching his gun, his own home security system showing him with a weapon. His two associates who were with him that night eventually cooperated with prosecutors. On April 15, 2015, Aaron Hernandez was convicted of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The same week, he was also charged with the 2012 double murder of Daniel D'Abreu and Safiro Furtado.
That trial began in 2017. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him in the Lloyd case, the jury in the double murder trial acquitted him on all counts. 5 days after his acquittal, Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his prison cell. He had hanged himself with a bedsheet. He was 27 years old. He left 3 notes, one for his fiancée, one for his daughter, and one for a man named Kyle Kennedy, who had been his prison companion. The note to Kennedy confirmed what many had suspected. Aaron Hernandez died as he had lived, with secrets. What happened after his death changed everything. At the request of his family, Aaron Hernandez's brain was donated to Boston University's CTE Research Center. What they found stunned the medical world. Aaron Hernandez had stage 3 CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, out of a possible 4 stages. He was 27 years old. His brain was as damaged as the brain of a football player over the age of 65. It was the most severe case of CTE ever found in a person his age. CTE is a degenerative brain disease caused by repeated blows to the head. It causes aggression, paranoia, rage, impulsive decision-making, the inability to control violent impulses. Aaron Hernandez had been playing football since he was 8 years old. For almost 2 decades, his brain had been absorbing hits, and the NFL knew. The NFL had known for years that repeated head trauma caused permanent brain damage. They had known that their players were developing a disease that destroyed judgment and impulse control and made violence more likely. They said nothing. They did nothing. They kept scheduling games. They kept selling tickets. They kept signing players to $40 million contracts. And when those players committed murders, they cut them from the roster and declined to comment. The New England Patriots declined to be interviewed about Aaron Hernandez. The NFL declined to be interviewed about Aaron Hernandez. The sport that took his brain and gave him nothing in return stayed silent. Aaron Hernandez killed at least 3 people: Odin Lloyd, Daniel D'Abreu,
Safiro Furtado. 3 men with families. 3 men who did nothing to deserve what happened to them. Nothing about Aaron Hernandez's CTE or his secrets or his childhood excuses what he did to those 3 men. But here is the question nobody in the NFL wants asked. What did 20 years of football do to the brain of a boy who started playing at 8 years old? What did the sport know about what it was doing to its players? And how many Aaron Hernandezes are currently playing on Sundays, their brains quietly deteriorating, their judgment quietly eroding, their impulse control quietly disappearing? Aaron Hernandez was not just a murderer. He was a warning that the NFL heard and ignored. Who do you think bears more responsibility for what Aaron Hernandez became? The man himself or the sport that damaged his brain and protected him until it was too late? Drop your answer in the comments, and if someone needs to hear this story, share it with them.